Good afternoon. Hi, it's Professor Elizabeth McCauley again from the MA program in Liberal Studies with another video for you related to your thesis or capstone. This is a video designed for MA in Liberal Studies students or MAL students to help them negotiate and figure out and think about who might be a good thesis or capstone advisor. Okay, congratulations. You've made great progress in the program. You've taken classes and now you're reaching the end of your degree. And oh no, you need to find a faculty member who can advise your thesis or your capstone. So the question sometimes we get, as I get as the EO and our advising fellows and our deputy executive officer get, is how do I pick a thesis advisor? Who should I ask? Okay, so I'm going to share our thesis page, and there are a couple of things to think about. All right, let me just share screen. Okay. So first of all, the first thing to think about or to note is you should start thinking about who a potential advisor can be from the very beginning of your degree. You want to think about faculty members you like, faculty members you've taken classes with, and whose research interests or methodological approaches or theoretical approaches align with your own. If there's somebody you haven't taken a class with, we can talk about that in a moment, but that is also a possibility. So the first thing is people will say is, does it have to be a member of the MALS faculty who advises me? And as you can see here, the answer is no. It needs to be a faculty member who has an appointment at the CUNY Graduate Center. So that can be in MALS, that can also be in another program. If you're not sure how to do that or figure it out, I recommend that you go to the directory and you can look up staff and faculty. So for example, if you have the name of a professor and you're not sure where they are, you can type in their name here and it will show whether or not they have an affiliation. If their name comes up and they're affiliated with a program, then you know that they can advise your thesis or your capstone. If for some reason they don't, you may need to reach out to the faculty member to ask if they do or they will have an appointment in the future. In order for someone to advise your thesis or your capstone, they have to have an appointment at the CUNY Graduate Center. Okay, if you're not certain about maybe who to ask, you can also look at faculty research areas. So we have certain faculty members who are listed here and what their interests are. So that can be useful. If you're still at a loss for someone who could advise you, please reach out to me or the deputy executive officer of the program, and we can talk through some different options. Okay. Let's say, though, you have an idea of someone you would like to ask. How, when, and how do you ask them? So if it's a faculty member you've taken a class with or two classes with, the best thing you should do is write them an email. But before you write them an email, you really have to have an idea of that project, of what you want to work on. So what I would recommend first and foremost doing is having a summary, an idea of what you want to look at in 1 to 2 paragraphs that you can then share with that faculty advisor. And so what you want to do when you write to the advisor or the possible advisor is write in a polite and engaging and professional tone, so they know that you're serious and also that you're interested in working with them. Now, if you haven't worked with a faculty member before, you really probably want to write them an email first, introduce yourself before you ask them to be a thesis or capstone advisor. Set up an appointment, have a conversation with them, explain the sets of circumstances that you're in. Now, people also ask, when should you do this? Ask your faculty member at least 1 semester in advance, if not 2. There are a couple of reasons for this. First of all, there's a process where a specific section of MAL 79,000 is set up for you to work with that in faculty member, and it takes a little bit of time. But more importantly, you have to make sure that the faculty member with whom you want to work is not on sabbatical or leave in the semester you want to work with them. Faculty members who are on sabbatical or leave are not eligible. They're not able to supervise a thesis or a capstone. But it also helps the faculty member to think about their workload and to organize their schedule so that they can work with you. So it's really important to ask them early and have a conversation about it. Okay, so once you have picked an advisor and the advisor has said yes, what happens then is you send an email to the department saying so-and-so is going to supervise your thesis or capstone, and then they will send a second email kind of following up on that, affirming it, and then the course for you, the MAL 79,000, will be created. But another question we often ask, and this is an important question for when you're selecting your advisor, is what can you expect? Faculty have very varying they have different approaches, varying approaches to how they advise. Some faculty members are very hands-on. They want to read multiple drafts. They will set a schedule and work with you going from, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a biweekly basis, and maybe very hands-on. Other faculty members are really not going to be super hands-on. So it's important to ask some questions to the potential advisors about what type of advisor they are, and think about what you need as a student. Some students really like hands-on, like a lot of feedback and criticism, and some don't. Advisors often have many students and responsibilities. So you want to be thoughtful about how you communicate with them and what type of feedback and information you expect for them, and in a timely fashion. So in my case, I often set up meetings with my students, and I ask them to turn in work a couple of days in advance so I have enough time to read it and give back feedback. You also need to let them know about deadlines. Some faculty may be very comfortable and very used to supervising MA theses. Others may not be. And so they are dependent on you to know the department deadlines, the department schedule. And so that's something for your role as a faculty member, as a student involved in doing a thesis or a capstone. The other thing you have to realize, and this is an important thing, and this is why we have advisors, is advisors give us feedback, and their critiques and support are really designed to help you write the best thesis or capstone possible. So it's something you do want to take to heart and take on board, even if it sometimes can be a little bit jarring. So really, it's important to have some very clear and open lines of communication with your advisor. The other thing is, in theory, a MALS thesis or capstone is a one-semester project. However, in reality, it takes most students a little bit longer to finish. So one last question you might want to ask of an advisor is, are they available in the breaks between the fall and the spring semester to look at a thesis? Will they be able to consult with you over the summer? Some faculty may be able to, some not. So these are just some of the various different questions you should think about when you're trying to figure out who your different possible thesis advisor could be. All right, so if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out, drop me an email. Please email the administration of the MALS program or your advising fellow for more questions. I'd be happy to answer them, and I hope you found this useful.